Good morning, everybody. Hopefully, things stream well today. Checking up on things and making sure everything's up here. Come on. What's up, Camel? Good morning, Pac-Man. I'm just checking to make sure we are actually live here. Hey, Neil, Sid. Obviously, Twitch is live for you guys. Hey, Quad. I just want to make sure YouTube goes live. YouTube always seems to take forever to get started. And I don't think it's up quite yet. We might have to... Okay, YouTube is live. Great. Thank you, guys. Good morning, Luke and Gerchan. Sorry if I butchered your name. YouTube is up. Sweet, guys. All right, so... As you guys have probably figured out from the title, I don't plan on doing much development today. Actual development, anyways. We're going to be working on what's going to go on the poll and maybe some other random stuff, depending on how quickly things go. But yeah, the 7.9 release came out yesterday, went out yesterday. Maybe a little bit nervous to put it out because not everything I fixed towards the end was that well tested, but man, it's been smooth. So praise the Lord for that. And I'm pretty pleased. So, a wonderful summer day. Hey, Phobos. It's not quite summer yet, but yeah, I'm with you. Picnicking with family. Cool, Camel. You are alive and well. Good to know, Camel. Hey, Purple. It indicates YouTube a lot slower than it actually is. Yeah. Twitch crew, best crew. Here we go. We're going to get a rivalry going. Hey, Double O. Thank you, Charco. That's great to hear. Anyone got video yet? Yeah, I think everybody's got video, Ian, from what I hear. Hey, Ian. All right. So yeah, we're all up and running. Hopefully things are smooth for you guys. I should check my frame. Yeah, no dropped frames at all. So apparently my upload is good today. Although at the same time, I mean, I'm not really doing anything with the video at all. So, but whatever. We're good to go. Basically what I want to do today is kind of go through all the poll items together. And I'm probably like shooting myself in the foot doing this, to be honest with you guys. It's gonna be like I'm gonna have to shoot some people down, okay? So know that from the beginning that I'm not gonna be able to like please everybody. So forgive me for that. But because I think we'd have like 50,000 things on the poll if we ended up pleasing everyone. What my intention is here is to try and put the poll items together from various sources. I'm going to check the forums. There's a thread going on the forums right now. I'm going to check Bitbucket for the top voted features. I'm going to go through my previous list. We're going to go through all the items that were on the last poll, and we're going to go through and try and determine what should end up on the next poll. And there's one item that I want to surprise everybody with on the poll that I'm not going to bring up today, unless somebody else brings it up. If somebody else brings it up, then great. But there is one extra item I'm going to add. So, is this the pre-poll poll? Yeah, you can consider this video the pre-poll poll, Neil. All right. Well, let me. Yeah, I know, Camel. Well, you know what happens when when I don't stream. There's been a couple times when I've had like a bad situation and haven't been here, and people think I died, which is which it's it's good to have that love and support. Thank you, Shadow. Appreciate you being here. LaunchBox continues. Designs. If I have a ROM and move platforms on it in LaunchBox, will LaunchBox move the ROM location to the correct platform folder? No, I don't think so. You're gonna have to basically, um, you're gonna have to move the files yourself, and then also just check on the folder. I don't think it depends on whether you've tweaked it. I think, but after you rename a platform, you're just gonna have to check up on the folders and make sure everything's pointed to the right spot. That has been a pain point historically, and we fixed a bunch of that stuff. But no, nothing media or ROM or any of that is moved when you rename a platform right now. PDF viewer, yeah, that the PDF viewer will definitely be on the next poll. Don't worry about that one. That one's kind of a big one. So, hey Poiser, awesome, be cool. Appreciate that. Thank you so much for the purchase. Foxy, yeah, I am aware of that issue. Basically, that happens when you don't have the region and don't have the version field populated. Basically, if you were to re-import your ROMs, that would go away. The problem is you have existing ROMs in your and I could be wrong. Okay, so take it with a grain of salt. But I think the problem is if you're missing information in your collection and you try and merge them together, it just doesn't have anything to put there. But maybe there is a bug. I'm not sure. Hey Neil. Autocomplete filters. You mean with drop downs and stuff? Servo stick support, sure. WYSIWYG theme editor. Oh yeah, I'd love to do a WYSIWYG theme editor, but that one's huge. So yeah, there's going to be some stuff that, yeah, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, 2 people that want that feature, so that's a lot. There you go. Bezels. Yeah, getting rid of lock. That's another thing that I feel like I'm going to have to shoot down today is the concept of getting rid of rocket launcher. That is a fairly common request, honestly, but I'm not sure it's worth the effort involved to make it happen. So let's go through the list and come up with the items, and we'll go through there. But before we get into that, there's a couple things I want to do. One thing, we need to pray, and another thing is I want to talk to you guys about the official release. I want to hear if you guys have run into any issues. Another thing that's interesting is the Windows 10 Creators Update. How many of you guys have updated to the Windows 10 Creators Update, and have you run into any issues? Because there are a number of issues. There is actually a thread on the forums right now going through it, and we've gotten pretty much every issue fixed that we've heard about so far. Usually involves reinstalling drivers, reinstalling DirectX, and disabling MSI Afterburner. Those have been the 3 main fixes, but I'd love to hear you guys' feedback on how all that stuff is going with the new release, and we'll go from there. Thank you, Shadow. Cool, Foxy. Your ROMs have regions, but merging them causes it to say play version. Okay. So apparently I do need to look into that yet. The WYSIWYG editor might just kill everything else in the poll. Maybe. But not everybody's a theme developer, so not everybody's going to care. That's the trick there. And the other thing is, it's going to take like literally a couple months worth of development to get that built. So is it worth us spending 2 whole months on that one thing? I'm not sure. So if we did put something like that on the poll, I'm going to be making it very clear to everybody that this is a major thing that's going to vastly distract from development on everything else. So that's the catch with something like that. It's only worth it if it's worth distracting from development elsewhere for a significant amount of time. It's not a quick thing to build. No issues, nothing wrong. Afterburner. Hey, Steven. Cool, David. No issues. Probably not updating until prompted, and that makes sense. Some people are already being prompted, but I know Microsoft is going to, sparse it out. That's not the right word, but you guys know what I mean. Plugin for Visual Studio to render things nicely is better than a WYSIWYG editor. Yeah, I can see that. That's not a bad idea. What you see is what you get, like drag and drop. The other thing is like with the themes that we've got in Big Box are much different than the type of themes that you would typically see with a WYSIWYG editor. So you guys, as much as you guys as it sounds like being able to drag and drop stuff is going to be amazing, you can't do the same kind of things with a WYSIWYG editor like that, and it's not as flexible, and things aren't going to be as pretty. I mean, I don't know. I'm still not sold on that concept, to be honest with you guys. Hey, Static Fade. Poiser, have an idea for ROM hacks or mods that should be compatible for LaunchBox. So, for example, many Pokemon ROM hacks for GBA Advanced that could be used, which I love, but I can't get to work. So, ROM hacks. Yeah, but what exactly about ROM hacks can't you get to work, Poiser? Adding features to remove the use of Rocket Launcher would be a great idea. Yeah. I don't know. Coffee. It's always coffee, 007. The rollout will take several months, even if things go well. That's the thing. The WYSIWYG editor and the Rocket Launcher stuff is another thing. So, like, my issue with replacing Rocket Launcher features is there's just so much other stuff that we could do that is actually new. And it's going to get people more excited than, replace your Rocket Launcher. That's not a very exciting thing. That doesn't. People want new stuff for their collections. They don't want to replace existing stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm torn on that, and I'm also torn on the WYSIWYG editor because it's just not. We have flexibility no one else has because of the XAML theming engine. Yes, it's more difficult to build themes, but we also have the prettiest themes out of any front end anywhere because we have talented XAML theme creators. And what you're going to see if we build a WYSIWYG engine, right? It's going to take us 2 months, at least 2 months to build it. And once it's built, what you're going to see is you're going to see a lot more themes, but is the quality going to be what we got? No, not likely. And sure, you're going to get a lot more, but the barrier to entry will be a lot quicker and easier. Yes, which is a good thing. But we're gonna and we are gonna see a lot more themes, but the themes probably are not going to be as high of quality as what they are right now. Partially because it'll be easier for people to make themes, and so you're gonna have kids going in there, little kids going in there making a bunch of stuff, and it's just gonna we're gonna have a ton of extra crap that nobody's gonna use. But on top of that, the WYSIWYG engine is just not going to be as powerful just by nature of it. And it might not end. You might not have the same pretty results. So I'm not so sure that is a good idea. you know, would it get a lot of votes if we put it on the poll? I don't know. It might. It might get a ton of votes if we put it on the poll, but I'm not sure that's the direction I want to take the theming engine. Thank you, Sid. That's good to know. As a theme creator, I have to say I'm quite happy with Notepad++ and would like to see a lot of missing theming features added first. Yeah, and Sid has provided a bunch of awesome ideas for themes. And as you guys know, he's the creator of the Critical Zone theme, which is also what the City Hunter theme is based on, and probably some other themes too. And literally, I mean, his work on themes has been some of the most valuable work we've seen. Between him and Grilla, they're the most amazing theme creators we have in the community, and they're honestly, we owe so much to them. We owe, because not that the default theme is ugly, because it's not really ugly. And a lot of people really like the default theme, but even I don't like the default theme. I made the default theme, and I don't like the default theme compared to Critical Zone, and some of the themes that Gorilla's created, like Comics Box for me is just gorgeous. So there's all kinds of cool stuff coming out of the community, and I don't think I'm not sold on the fact that the theming scene is going to be boosted in positive ways that much by creating a WYSIWYG editor. So it's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, auto download updates. I'm with you, Quill. That makes a lot of sense. I tell you what, though, guys, I'm not making the list quite yet. So hold off on your ideas until we get there. And we will brainstorm and literally take down everything. Centered 4.3 videos and a 16:9 theme is a big deal. Absolutely. And that's one of the theming features that I need to get implemented. 3D Paint. Yeah, isn't that insane? The video alignment bug, absolutely, is one of the main things that need to get fixed. And I've been back to that dumb thing for ages, and I've had so many issues with it, it's insane. But that's why it hasn't been fixed. Direct live stream from LaunchBox. Oh, you mean for you to live stream using LaunchBox? Yeah, certainly that's possible. I don't know that that's high priority, but yeah, I get you, Quill. That makes sense. Simply Austin is running a competition to give 7 arcade cabinets away. That's awesome. Are they running big box? No, I'm just joking. But that's still awesome. That's really, really cool. Be cool. The scope is too large, but I would love to see the GamesDB have game optimum game emulator configs. That'd be really neat. Something like for low, medium, high specs. Yeah, that'd be really awesome. And that's kind of a new idea, but you're right. That would be like extremely difficult to implement. So and that's the other thing about the poll. If we put it on the poll, I have to be willing to implement it. So that's one of the reasons why I have to be a little bit careful about it. But what we will do here soon is we're gonna just basically brainstorm, and I'm gonna jot down everything. Whether it'll be on the poll or not, and then we'll start to whittle it down. Like launching an app from the top level, yeah. Progress bar for 7-zip extraction. Functionality over bells and whistles every time for me. Linking games between platforms. Way lesser quality. I'm not sure what that means, Kyle. General public have no idea how to make good-looking themes. I get you. It'll be a bunch of awful stuff with muddy image backgrounds, not all worth development time. Yeah, and you got to be nice to people. You know, for the most part, almost no, pretty much every single theme that is coming out that has um, come out currently on our forums is just is worth using and very 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 cool. Um, and agreed. I'm not sure that's going to be the case. As a matter of fact, I'm almost positive if we did the WYSIWYG thing and anybody could whip out a theme in 10 minutes, you're just going to get a lot of crap. You really are. And I've got to be careful with what I say because I'm going to piss some people off if I keep going. But honestly, the themes we got up there right now are just amazing. Like every single one, and we need to and not that I mean we should it should be an easier barrier to entry. I get it, but I don't think that if we opened it up to everybody and their mother and their kids, that we'd end up with a lot of useful stuff. Array selection as columns and rows in selection. Interesting. Every feature needs a basic on-off switch. Sure. And most things do, but not everything. Usually when we add something new, we do. Really something put in a folder. Maybe something automatically cleans up the folder with the downloads of the LaunchBox code, like all the betas. Yeah. Yeah. Right now, there's nothing to clean that up. Hey, Vissy. It can't use multi-core extraction for LZMA2. What? I don't even. I don't. What is LZMA2? That's interesting. Hi Kyle. I agree 100%. Leave it out of the poll, but keep it in the discussion. Sure. I'm not. The problem is I'm way too far behind in these comments, guys. Stay with the current theme engine, and yeah, that's what I think. Ali agreed. You'd like a good tutorial on the themes. That's not a bad idea. And honestly, I have put out tutorials on the themes, but they're relatively rudimentary, and we could certainly do more. Yeah, leave Rocket Launcher alone. Yeah, that's kind of my hunch right now, anyways. I need to catch up here, guys, though. Like I said, hold off on your ideas. I want to hear them, but let me get into actually storing them here, because you're gonna have to repeat them if you keep dropping them right now. Theme downloads, yeah. Thank you, Pac-Man. Good to know about the WYSIWYG. Platform theme videos during import, not just game ones. Sure. Also implement a backup feature. Sure, not a bad idea. Yeah. I'm just kind of trying to skip through these as much as possible because I'm getting behind on the comments, guys. Ease of creation equals piles of crap. Oftentimes. I love you too, Freddie. Expand the Rain Symbol platform image collection. I love it. But yes, it is going to take money to do it. We should hit up Rain Symbol. And if you're interested in donating, guys, to get more of those images created, I'm sure he would be willing to do it. He has spent literally, I don't know what he spent, but I'm sure he spent hundreds of dollars at least on getting those images created. Theming tutorials, sure. Hey Pedro. Nested filters drop down list. That is something that has come up several times now, Charco, and I agree. That would be nice to have. Absolutely. Raspberry Pi support is not going to happen, unfortunately, anytime soon. It would be a complete rewrite to get it on Linux, and I'd love to do that. But now that we have it on you know, on a handheld, the GPD Win is working great. I don't see us prioritizing that for the moment. I'd love to do it, but it's a complete rewrite, so it's just not going to happen. Because it would be like writing everything from scratch would take a year, you know. That's awesome. It is so awesome to hear, Sid, that those stupid videos. They're not stupid. I mean, I did the best I could, but it's so awesome to hear that got you up and running. Thought I heard when I joined the stream about the Windows Creator update. Yep. Yeah, there are some issues, Static Fade. There's a but it most likely you won't run into any issues, but it is possible. And there are some solutions on the forums. There's a particular thread about it. Thank you, Lee. Scrape review scores. We don't do any scraping because we don't take data from sites that don't want us to take data from them. So as much as I'd love to have review scores, we would have to get it legitimately through an API, and they'd have to give us permission. But yeah, that would be really awesome. I'm with you there. All-in-one builds, including emulators. Unfortunately, we can't do that for various reasons legally, and I don't want to piss people off. Like RetroArch does not want us including RetroArch in with the software because they're all upset about. They would be upset about us doing that because we have a premium version, apparently. My handheld is doing quite nicely. Designs. Anyways, let's pray. Let me cut you guys off. Let's pray here, and after that, we'll start brainstorming things, and we'll go from there. Because obviously, you guys are excited about this poll, and we keep dropping ideas, and I need to start brainstorming. So let's get going. Thank you, Lord, for everybody on the stream, and thank you for all the interest and the passion. It's so great to see, and it's so motivating, and I love it. So thank you for this community. Thank you for the smooth release yesterday. It's just great to have it out, and so great to be able to keep going and moving on. Pray that you would help us to have a civil conversation and support everybody in the stream and help us to get all the right things into this poll, and be with everybody here. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Cool. All right. Catching up here. Better internal graphics support. I'm not sure what that means, really. Thank you, Quill. Hey, Pedro. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you, Foxy. You know, I love you guys. I really do, and you guys amaze me, honestly. It's just amazing how much positive feedback I get from you guys. It's awesome. Integrated graphics, I get it. So like lower end. You know what I did, guys? Just recently improve the cover flow performance, which will help with integrated graphics support. This was before the release, so this is in the latest release now in 7.9. The most graphics intensive part of LaunchBox and Big Box was the cover flow, and I figured out why. So I'll show you guys why here real quick. Yeah. If we go into, doesn't matter, NES, that's fine. And switch the view up to cover flow. Come on. Alright, so cover flow, if you look at it, and it's still loading the background here. Apparently something is going on my computer right now. Huh. My drive is being used heavily. That's usually what... I don't know. Weird. Anyways, ignore my performance issues right now. But we have, with CoverFlow, the main thing that is super intensive is we have a reflection on every single one of these boxes. And the reflections go on top of reflections, go on top of reflections, go on top of reflections. And you'll notice when you turn off reflections, that performance is a million times better, but it's also not nearly as attractive. So that's kind of the reason here for the performance issues in the CoverFlow I learned. If I go... I just want to kind of just show this to you guys. If I go to, what is it? Images, CoverFlow reflection opacity. I changed this in 7.9. So if you set it to 0%, then it just doesn't render the reflections at all. And it's actually a lot faster. So you'll notice that performance is a lot better in the CoverFlow. Oh, well, it's populating my images. Apparently, I didn't have images in here for CoverFlow. That's why it's slower than usual. Okay. But it's a lot smoother without the, you know, reflections. So at least I did figure that out. That will help out a lot with integrated graphics. For example, on the GPD Win, that makes CoverFlow smooth and usable by disabling those reflections. Anyways, thank you, Static. I like it too. Yeah, I do think that, well, one of the items that's okay. So let's start putting things on the list here for the poll. New theme features is one of the things I want to put on the poll. I would like to put on the poll myself. Big box theme fixes and features. As far as what those are, I will define them and come up with a description, but that is something I definitely want to put on the poll. Really looking forward to a clock. Prioritize region when downloading images. That is already there, I think, Jack. Isn't it? No, not when downloading, but it's when displaying that it will prioritize them. So basically it'll download everything and then prioritize it as you display it. And you can go in and you can just delete anything that you don't want, but I can see that. Okay, why not? Prioritize region on downloads. On the platform screen for consoles, what is that video? That is the new platform category video from James Baker. And it should be downloadable from the same tools download platform category playlist videos. The new option to force load all images into cache for lower end devices, would this also improve performance and more powerful PCs too? Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you have, what it's going to do is it's going to make it so Big Box never has to populate any new images. So if you want to sit there and wait for it, then it's going to improve performance so that it never has to do that in the background. So yes, absolutely. It looks better without the reflection. Can you use 3D boxes in the CoverFlow? Yes, you can. Well, the fake 3D boxes, you know what I mean. Big Box startup script, I'm not sure what that is. I do have a list for the poll, and I'll be pulling that up here in a second, K-Money. I'm just busy going through comments, so. Random game function in big box is on my list. Random game for big box is on the other list. We'll put that up, and then the PDF viewer will be coming over as well. User profiles and retro achievements. User profiles, retro achievements. Default an image for a game that overrides the general platform configuration. Interesting. So on a game by game basis, make a particular image the default for that game. You can already do that sort of dark with the image prioritization features. So what I would recommend, if you want, for example, a screenshot to show up if there is no box, you can add the screenshot to the box priorities, and that will help you prioritize everything. So really, that shouldn't be necessary. You can already do that for the most part. Hyperspeech like feature. They can read system BIOS on the main menu, etc. Yes, text to speech. I always forget how to spell speech. Here we go. Random game mode. This goes to your games and selects one when it stops, just like DDR. Yeah, that's into the random game. That's what I've got in mind for the random game stuff already there. 3D transform. Sure, that's already possible. It's just we need a theme to do it, and then we need the expertise of somebody who knows how to do that stuff. It's not easy. Auto download updates in the background. Platform subcategories. PDF support is there. Make a fixed default, select options to download images. Sure, so download images, default preferences. Hold the key to spin. When you let go, it slowly comes to a halt like a game show wheel. That's a good idea. I like that. I do. Track mode, hold a key button. Just use that for notes. Rate games in big box. Rate games in big box, or star ratings in big box is a better way to put that. And another one that we want to get in there is community ratings in LaunchBox and big box. I really want to see that. How come going from categories to platforms is so quick for your setup? Because I've got a good, fast machine. That's the gist. But it really shouldn't be taking very long. I know on my GPD Win it takes a second. That's about it. Theme per platform playlist. Sure. NetPlay. Yeah, and specifically we should do RetroArch NetPlay integration. Disable analog input for game selection. I know what you mean there. Although, just use the... Why would you need to disable it? Because you can just still use the... But I get you, sort of. But I don't know that should go on the poll. Platform. Oh, yeah. Want big box, but I'm broke and live on a tight budget. Love this program, just ready to support you more, but I can't. Thanks for this app. It's the best. You bet, Abdur. Thank you. A World of Warcraft achievement system. Now that would be epic. It takes ages to load platforms after selecting a category. What is ages, Elite? Setting to allow Windows to load Big Box by default instead of the Explorer.exe. That is, I mean, obviously that's possible with third-party applications, but because of the potential support issues with that, I don't want to add that directly into Big Box. We're going to have a million people on the forums saying, oh, I screwed up my system, and I can't get to my Windows. So no, I don't really want to add that into Big Box. Custom, no image available, JPEG other than the LaunchBox logo. Yes, absolutely. Per platform, I'd like to see as well. Yep. Better default covers for missing games. Yeah. Bezels is one that I don't want to add, to be honest, but I'm going to put it on the list anyways. The rocket launcher replacement stuff. Themes for each platform and star ratings in Big Box. Games out of cover, yeah. A look at voice recognition again. Okay. Because we do still have some issues with voice recognition for folks outside the U.S. I agree about the platform default covers. I like that. Ability to use RAR files, that's already supported through 7-zip. K-Money. That should already be there, in theory. Top level app loading. We got the star ratings. RAR 5. Nobody's going to vote for that if I put that on the list, K-Money, to be honest. So I don't think I'm going to bother. People don't get excited about that kind of stuff. Theme builder tools. So what do you mean by theme builder tools, Thomas? Granular selective tiered lock levels in Big Box. Okay, sure. Better controls for locked Big Box. Servo stick support. O-Drive selective download support. I need you to explain that, Andy. I don't have any idea what that means. Ability to minimize to tray. Alternative names on import and consolidating ROMs. Alternative names on import. That's basically, we have that on the database, but not in LaunchBox yet. Video attract mode, sure. Loading screen is another rocket launcher feature that I'm gonna put off. I don't want to put that stuff on this poll yet. Anyways, it's not to say we're not gonna do it eventually, but if it's a rocket launcher feature, I'm gonna keep that stuff off this poll because I think there's better things we can implement for right now. RSS feed, news and updates. Controller key bindings image when launching a game. Option to hide all games that are missing artwork and or details such as plot be doable. Sure. Community ratings, yep. Genre images. Startup videos overhaul, yep. That's on my list. And that's not how you spell overhaul. Yeah, I'm more likely to add platform subcategories than multi-level wheels because that's just going to be such a multi-structure, a major job for me to do development-wise. I'm not sure it's worth it. So we would probably do simpler approach. on that. Fightcade support. You gotta help me out with that one. Fightcade support. What is that? I don't even know what Fightcade is. I should probably. Trackball and spinner support. Sure. So, trackball, spinner, wheel, control. An indicator icon for games that have soundtrack playlist added. Yeah, how can we do that? I mean, that's such a specific feature. Various icons to optionally show on games. Have soundtrack, multiple versions. This is a common request, etc. Well, not that common, but relatively common. Built in scan lines option. Startup video improvements. Yep. Cody Jukebox felt the need to be a platform. Top level loading. We already got that on there. An easier way to build themes or maybe a set of templates that people can use to start. Sure, of course, and that's already there with all the existing themes. You can download any of them and tweak them. But yes, that came up. The WYSIWYG editor is what people have suggested, but I agree that we need easier ways to build themes. And I'm not sure WYSIWYG is the best way to do it, but yeah, I'm with you, Thomas. More tutorials, templates, easier ways to build themes. We'll do something like that. Trackball, we added light gun support for navigation in Big Box. How would that even work? View game commercials. We would have to actually get the game commercials available, so I can't really put that on there until we have a good source of all the commercials. Big Box in a window, sure. Not sure what you mean. Limit background LaunchBox. You mean background CPU usage designs? Easier platform sorting by drag and drop. Metacritic and OpenCritic scores. Sure. Trackball and spinner and servo stick can all be under better controls. Yeah, but I want to keep them separate, I think. For right now. Because it's not like I can implement them all together. I have to implement them separately. Yep, spinner trackball support to spin the wheel. Save your configuration. Ah, yes. LaunchBox list mode overhaul. Save, setup, etc. Metadata for Android games. That's all available right now. We just need people to implement that stuff on the games database. I'm not sick anymore, 00, really. I do have some allergy issues, so that's probably what's going on. O-Drive is a program that replaces OneDrive, Google Drive clients that allows you to download files as you launch them. Oh, that's cool. Huh. I'll have to look into that, Andy. That's exciting. No kidding. Type of controller compatibility image. Not following that, Pure Luck. Can you explain? Per platform. Oh, as far as like what controls you can use per platform. Sure. Although I don't really know how to put that on there. You can already do that for the most part. Oh crap, I lost my spot. Where am I at? Fightcade is community for... Wait a minute. Play on a laptop is limited space. You can give it a try. It's free. Yeah, definitely. I actually wanna check that out, Andy. That's pretty cool. Matchmaking. That would be the net play stuff, probably. Fightcade is a community for connecting players. Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Sure. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that existed. +1 for LaunchBox using alternate names and scraping, and more than one alternative name on the database. Some games are completely different. Yeah, yep, that's already on there. In addition to what Neil K said, just checked out the site and OpenCritic looks to have an API alpha in the works. Cool. Multi-level wheels has some votes in Bitbucket. LaunchBox, yeah, but I mean, it's gonna. The vast majority of people are not gonna need more than 3 levels. I mean, unless I'm, you know, completely misunderstanding it. But database improvements. LaunchBox games database improvements. Different music per platform that overrides the platform video music. Yes. Different music per platform. Really, it's flat background music. Yeah, all the various different icons there, Deli. Yep. Scoot some words when adding rounds. For example, Disney. Sure. So, yeah. That's something for me to keep in mind, although I don't think it should go on the poll. Another suggestion, record 60 seconds video feature screenshot. Sure. Record gameplay videos. Light guns control the mouse cursor just like the trackball. Oh, I see. Interesting. I never seen that working. Okay. So it would just work in theory because it acts as a mouse. Logic for linking games between multiple platforms. Sure. Linking platform games together. Sure, the community ratings, yep. Most played games, favorite games, and community favorite games per platform or playlist. Yeah. Well, obviously you can already create playlists to do that for most played and favorite. Once we add the community favorite stuff, I think that'll be there. But you can already do that, Thomas, for the most part, I think. Auto-populate genres in the new filter search. Sure. Yeah, we already have. Or did we add that? Filters, auto-populate. I'm not sure if we got that in there or not. Tracking of time played. That's always busted. It never works properly with any solution that's ever been built. So it's impossible to do it right, which is why we've never done it. That's been a common request. But I mean, so even Steam gets that completely wrong. But yeah, I agree that would be kind of neat. Yeah, I was definitely sick for a long time, and it was really freaking annoying. Thankfully, though, I'm finally over it. It was some kind of awful bug that just lingered for ages and ages and ages. Jason clones to do all this stuff. Android version of LaunchBox. We decided that that's not likely to happen anytime soon. It was on the last poll, and I'm actually going to pull it from the next one. I'm not going to put it on the next one because we've discovered that we have handhelds that are working really really well now, and it's a complete rewrite. I mean, it would take me a year. Well, Android is simpler, so I mean, it wouldn't take me as much time because it would be a whittled down version of LaunchBox. But no, we're gonna focus on um, on Windows for now. I think. Friends list, sure. Coin door support. As far as like a timeout thing, yeah, I don't think I'll put it down here for long term. Can arcade games be filtered by number of players? Yes and no. We need better data for that. Is the reason why it doesn't work really very well. Splash image when launching games. Not a bad idea. LaunchBox to track how long you have configured games. Don't really know what that means exactly. Just kidding. Big box sleep mode. What would big box sleep mode be, Thomas? Netplay we have on the list. Yep, I would love to have that. Flags for homebrew, pirate, ROM hack, etc. GamesDB improvements. Flags for homebrew, pirate, ROM hack, etc. Better pinball support. Mouse input profile based on click zones. Interesting. That would be tough to pull off without changing the interface and everything. Cloud saving. As far as saving like game saves and stuff. Yeah, I definitely agree. Pinball does need better support. Friends list. Group games by series within LaunchBox Games database when we download it through the metadata. Can't you already do that? What are we missing there? Bonsai, overall in-game with the option of disk change because of the games you have to change disk to save. Yeah, the problem with that is you got to do it emulator specific for different for every single emulator, so I don't think that's likely to happen. Longer intro videos. Oh, sure. Well, yeah, that'll be part of the intro video revamping. Selecting a game list, similar games. Similar games. Which we would need. Yeah, that's tricky. I don't know how we do that. Ability to select which file or file type to launch when using compressed files. Stream setup. Sure, live stream, I assume. Live streaming. The thing is, that's going to be like a major job, and I'm not sure I want to get that in there at this point. Just don't break what we have now. Thank you, Doss. Party chat. Friends. Sure. Steam launching in the background when you load a game. That'd be interesting to pull off. I'm not sure how I'd do that. I have to look into that, see if that's even possible. Customizable buttons. What do you mean by that, Feels? How many things can each person vote for? The thing is, we're not going to put 50 items on this poll. So, granted, this is a brainstorming session, so there's going to be a lot more things I'm putting down on this list that's going to end up on the poll. But this is actually really useful because we're getting some great ideas that I didn't expect to get. But yes, we are going to whittle this down yet. This is not what is going to be on the actual poll. But yes, it's good to brainstorm all this stuff together, and then we'll whittle it down, basically. And I'll keep this full list so that, you know, maybe a few months from now when we do yet another poll, we can come back to it. Yeah, last time it was as many as you wanted. I don't know. I didn't check people's individual votes to see if anybody voted for everything. Live streams directly from within LaunchBox. Yeah, I don't know. The thing is, we'd have to. I just think it's too early to do something like that. We got too much other stuff to do. It's too extensive of a thing to add. I'm almost caught up, guys. Yay. Support for art themes around the borders of a game and launch. Bezels. Sure. And that's a rocket launcher feature, and we're leaving that off. If rocket launcher does it right now and does it well, we're leaving it off the poll, at least for this one. Upload from LaunchBox to the games database. Yes. Okay. Upload from LaunchBox to games database. Big box long loading times. Sure. Startup performance. An OBS plugin for LaunchBox would be much easier. Agreed. And that would be the smart way to do it. However, I'm still not sure that's a good thing to tackle right now. I mean, people can use their own letter font for the interface. They want a Mario-themed interface, let them have one or something. Still not following that, Feels. I'm sorry. Custom fonts in Big Box? That was one that came up. Okay, I want some way to send commands to LaunchBox Big Box to update the library file in real time, but that's something I won't get on a poll as it's very me-centric. Sure. Yep, I hear you, Neil. Thank you, Lude. I really appreciate that. Start with Windows. Yeah, that came up earlier. The thing is, you can do that automatically, but I'm afraid to add that feature to Big Box because to do it automatically because we're going to run into too many support issues that way. People are going to screw it up and not be able to get back to their Windows. Definable save locations for each game in the system for automatically backing them up to a specific location. Sure. Backups, we already have, I think. Or do we? I don't know. I'll add it in just in case. And then save locations. The thing is, that stuff is emulator specific. So that's something you would configure in the emulator. And the fact that we would have to implement something completely unique for every single emulator, I'm just not interested in doing that because this could be a nightmare. And it's going to just distract from basically everything else. So I'm not so sure that's going to be a good one to tackle right now. Recording videos is on the list, yeah. Completed button in Big Box. Yes. Although that's not something that really should be on the poll because it's... I mean, it's too simple. Save a playlist based on search. Sure, you know what? Filters saving. Sure. Yeah, I mean, things shouldn't end up, getting put off over and over and over again. I'm with you there. Um, Visi, yeah. We'll have to make up for that a little bit. I think I do agree that the PDF viewer, I at the same to a certain extent, I don't think the poll should be the end all as far as exactly what we work on. There are other influences like the fact that PDF viewer is something that we should have. I mean it's just obvious. Only import installed Steam games. As much as I love to do that, it's not possible. So we won't be doing that. Steam just doesn't provide that information, so there's no good way to get at it. Am I going to use SurveyMonkey again? Yes, I am. Use the forums for the voting. Unfortunately, the forums voting sucks tremendously. Um, and we'd have the same issues with the forum. SurveyMonkey does quite a bit to prevent that. So SurveyMonkey is going to do that better than the forums can. You can still register on the forums as many times as you want to make it happen. So there's no... the SurveyMonkey's going to be better at preventing duplicate votes than anybody else. It's already easy enough to use Shadow Player something to live stream. No need to add it to LaunchBox. Yeah, that's the thing. Take it easy, 00. Custom UI. I don't know what that means. This is what I mean. Sorry, man. I'm not following you. Import music the same way as ROMs plus a player. Import music. Interesting. A player. I mean, we have a player, but needs improved. But, I mean, it could be improved. Using no intro dats as a base to import all the different regional names to LaunchBox Games database. Yeah. I'm hesitant to put that on the poll. But yeah, I get you. Hey, Jason. Image Manager presents the images in column lists and lets you drag and drop them between different lists to fix your image types easily. Interesting. Okay. VR support. Sure. That'd be fun. Dat file imports. Alright, I'll put it on the list. User profiles are already there. Double escape option when quitting emulators. Yeah, there are... you can do that already with the auto hotkey stuff. But... more options for quitting emulators. When you're loading black screen image or something because it looks bad that the emulator shows for a second when you load a game. Yeah, there's not a good way to do that without Rocket Launcher. And I'm going to say you need to use Rocket Launcher if you want that feature. Because stuff like that breaks constantly. And if we add that feature, it's just going to be a nightmare because we're going to spend all our time. Anytime an emulator comes out with an update, we got to fix it. And I don't want to do that. I want to avoid it and leave that stuff to the Rocket Launcher guys because they do it well. So, as far as save locations, it merely meant having a user-definable field that LaunchBox then backs up. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Talked about VR a few months ago. Indeed. ExoDOS. Yes. Well, that's going to happen whether it's on the poll or not. You can check Steam Apps Common. We actually used to do that, and it doesn't work right. Trust me when I say it doesn't work right. It works right 90% of the time, and the last 10% it doesn't work correctly. So that was actually how we used to do it. And um, it caused so many issues and so many bugs and problems that we stopped doing it that way. There's no good way to do it. That's not like the Steam advertised way to do it. Steam doesn't want you doing it that way because it just doesn't work right. So, sure, more close options. LaunchBox and Big Box game overlay, just like the Steam game overlay. Again, that's a rocket launcher feature. It'd be really neat. I like it, but I'm not. Again, it's a major thing that requires different stuff for every single emulator, so that's not something we're going to be adding to this poll. Let me drag and drop an exe on a LaunchBox. Right now, if I do that, only my two options are ROM and MS-DOS. Sure. So drag and drop Windows games. Yeah, VR. I would love to do something like that, Quad. Absolutely. It's certainly going to be a major job, but it'd be a lot of fun. Notes to an emulator. Huh. Well, that would be neat. I like that concept. Although, I mean, it's simple. I'm not sure it should end up on the poll. I actually do know how to scan for installed Steam games. Yeah, and we did that previously, but like I said, it's messy and it doesn't work right. That's the problem. It works right 90% of the time, but there's always games, there's extra things that show up that shouldn't. On top of that, there's always games that just refuse to show up in that case. It doesn't work well. All the little hacks out there, and I know this because we had this originally when LaunchBox first came out. We, instead of using the API, that's what I did. I searched in the folders. I figured out where all the IDs were and all that stuff on the actual hard disk, and I did it that way, but it doesn't work properly. Volume control is already there in Big Box. Import games from other services like GOG. That already works through the Windows import, assuming you just put the icons in the start menu. I know that GOG has like an undocumented API or something like that, but until GOG's API is official, I'm not going to be doing anything like that. It's not worth the effort if it's not going to be an official long-term solution. Steam's client APIs. Big Box DPI scaling. I know what that means. Basically, it depends on it. Big Box does support DPI scaling just out of the box, right? The issue is depending on how you implement the theme, it will or will not use the DPI scaling, and we have stuff everywhere that uses it and stuff that doesn't use it. We need a better way to handle preferences, whether to use it or not, and stuff like that. It's a complicated thing. I agree that it does need to happen, though. Gestures using a Wiimote. Interesting. Wiimote support. A back to top button. I'm not sure what that is. Assign emulator to specific games. You can already do that. Asking on Grilla's Switch theme. Sure. That makes sense. Well, we'll have to take a look at the theme, and and that can be tackled. So I'm caught up, guys. Finally, so 62 items in this list. That's a lot. Obviously, that's way too much for the poll. I want to kind of cross-reference this with what we previously had. Yeah, you can't turn off the DPI scaling. Is the main issue right now. You can, but you can't. It depends on what you call the field names and stuff like that. It's complicated. Oh, you are, Neil. That's cool. Awesome. ROM record support. Oh, ROM record. I see. But that would be. I mean, you can't. How am I going to pull that out of each individual game? I can't. So it's kind of. I mean, you could manually put it in. You're talking about manually doing it or automatically doing it? Manually doing it is possible. A clock, I just added that support, believe it or not, for the themes. But it wasn't just me, it was the community as well working on that. Names high score features can do it, sure. So we could integrate MAME high scores. All right. Let me pull up documents. This was my short list of poll ideas. And I want to make sure that all these things make it onto this list. I think most of these probably are already there. We had the startup video stuff. A big box wall view is another thing. Kind of similar to LaunchBox. The startup videos. Oh, come on, no. Startup. Videos overhaul. Randomize, prevent looping, etc. Select random game in big box. I think we have on here somewhere, right? Random game for big box. Yep. Theme per platform playlist. I think we have as well. Different themes per platform playlist. List of playlists that are specific to a particular platform. Oh yeah. Well, that'll be solved with the saving filters. Filters saving. Yeah, that's already there. Platform views. Oh, different views and themes per platform. Per platform. Do I have that in here somewhere? Yeah, different themes / views. Because it could just be different views. I need to save this. Let's go into... I probably shouldn't show that folder because there's business stuff in there. Okay. Where are we at? Duplicate image prevention. With like CRC checks and stuff like that. On-screen controls. I think we have that in here somewhere. Controller, key bindings, images. So basically on-screen controls. Platform details on the LaunchBox sidebar. Retro achievements we've got in there. Text to speech we got in there, I think. Should probably make sure. Text to speech, yep. We got the big box font size controls. So that's a better way to put it, I think. Be able to override that stuff manually would be ideal. Trackball we've got in there. Image sets. Like to do that. That I think that might have been my idea. Big box star ratings. I know we got database driven star ratings, community ratings. Yep. RSS we've got in there. The clock has already been done basically. Pinball. Better pinball support. Did we add that in here? Yeah. Launch from top level. Yep. Scan for new games at startup is another one. Retro achievements, net play, I think we have as well. And more video types is another one. So for like commercials, all that stuff to support different types of videos. And then randomly show them whatever. So yeah, good deal here. We got, obviously, a lot here. There's 70 items, but that covers everything. Let me catch up on comments again here. Have a selection on multiple monitors. So startup videos on multiple monitors? Sure. Event looping, multiple monitors. That's going to be tricky though. Forwarding settings, ROM setup, adding ROM, setting new system, new emulator through Big Box. Oh, sure. So do everything. Yeah, I'm not gonna put that on the poll yet. That'd be nice, but it'd be a pain in the butt and be a ton of work. Letter on the keyboard and go to the first game. Keyboard, letter navigation. Really, that's for both LaunchBox and Big Box. Wall view is a good idea, yep. Touchscreen support for Big Box. Add a new image type icon. Sure. We'd also got a feature where you could point to a working rocket launcher setup and it would import all systems to LaunchBox. Interesting. Good idea. Not a bad idea. I don't know what I'm thinking. And the Hyperspin folks would probably really appreciate that, I would imagine. Rocket launcher automatic import. Screen selection, yeah. Never looked at the properties of LaunchBox Big Box. You see, just notice there isn't any compatibility tab. Probably because it's running on the latest version of the .NET now. Actually, it's not. We're a version behind since 4.7 just came out. But remove a game straight from Big Box. Sure. Big Box remove game. Oh, interesting. Well, I know in 4.7 they're coming out with some new DPI options. So one of the things I was thinking about maybe we could do on the stream is seeing if we could test the 4.7 framework and run Big Box on that and LaunchBox on that, recompile it for it, and see how that works. Because, I mean, it could be a big win for a lot of different things. Theme-specific startup videos. Cache for latest decompressed files. Sure. Set up all my emulators have decent, not in batch. RetroArch is really nice for that because it helps. Well, I wouldn't say it's really nice because you're going to run into other issues maybe, but that does help if you use RetroArch. There's no good way to automatically configure controls for all your emulators, unfortunately. DOS, so I can have my arcade machine read me a book. Tags for verified working and translated games. Some of the ESRB favorite and broken tags. verified working and translated. A lot of this stuff is just too simple to put on the poll. I mean, too minimal. But I'm just trying to catch ideas now, I guess. Netflix on LaunchBox isn't going to happen, unfortunately. That would be really neat. Thank you, Spendy. I really appreciate that. Magazines, guides, manuals, and big box. Yeah, so PDFs. Which monitor VLC uses for startup videos? Yeah, I got you, Artraxis. That makes sense. Thank you, Artraxis, if you're talking to me. Launching Windows apps through Big Box is already possible, but it's a pain in the butt because Microsoft sucks. Microsoft has made that a nightmare. And you have to hack your way through it. But yeah. And that's the reason why the idiots are failing at the store. It's one of the reasons, because they can't make it easy for non-Windows apps to launch the stupid things, and so many other issues. It's just really dumb. But it's possible. There are threads on that. Enjoy, Jay Ryan. Touch UI. A whole new Touch UI? Well, we need a different theme, basically. Then I think the existing themes are going to support touch really well. We just have to do it, you know? Everything is big. There's nothing that's going to be a problem there. If in platform categories we could add subcategories, so you can add playlists and genres under specific systems, you can minimize. Yeah, so subcategories, that's already been discussed, Craig. That's on the list, actually. No, you're just joking, DOS. I get it. Search on type. Yep, that's... Well... That's already basically there. It's just popping to the shortcuts need improved, which we have. Start Big Box from scratch for you at DOS. Different default emulator specific games through Big Box list of associated emulators for that platform. Not quite following that, because that should already be there for the most part. Wondering if you'd add Gorilla's code for the fade out of the clear logo as the default theme. I should, K-Money. Absolutely, I agree with that. Yeah. That's obviously not going to go on the poll, but that wouldn't be hard for me to do. You might just have to harp on me a little bit, K-Money. When we're in development, that's the kind of thing I'm going to do, like, while we're in a live stream and I'm looking for something to do. That would be a good thing to mention to get done, you know? Yeah, I'll probably end up merging things together. Exactly. Section in the poll for major features, another section for minor features. We could do that, although I don't want to make it too complicated. One of my concerns is if we have 75 items on the poll, even if we have 20 items on the poll, people are going to load it up and see that it's too complicated and say, screw it, this is too much work. And I want to avoid that, so. Artraxis? That's cool. Thank you, Jack. Man, I really appreciate that. Thank you, Spendy. Yeah, the Windows Store banned emulators. That's no surprise. I mean, doesn't surprise me at all. We have preview videos on the game, Spendy. YouTube would be better. Don't know what that mean. What that's referring to, Quad. Oh, option to stream video from YouTube. Ah, sure. YouTube streaming. That would be interesting to implement. I'm not sure how we would do that, honestly, or if it would even be supported. But it's worth looking into. Take it easy, Dave. Small feature month. Sure. Yeah. My only issue with doing I couldn't go for a full month because honestly, jumping from feature to feature to feature to feature, even when it's little tiny small things, is exhausting as a developer. It's really really tough. So I already do a combination of the small things and the big things. I try to anyways. Um, I could not do a whole month of small features though. I would absolutely go insane. It just it would be way too much. Yeah, alternate names are already there, Tom. Are already on the list. I mean, not implemented. Ghost image for second controller. Oh, sure. So like, and that would be for um, cabinets. The darn it. So that's not a bad thing to add. Cocktail cabinet support. Native X input support for emulators. Yeah, I don't know that I want to add that though, because again, it might be emulator specific. It's going to be problematic. Check for added ROMs work on playlists. No, it does not. UI oriented gaming info. Selectable icon of sort like top games being played or new games and emulators being released. Sure. Sort of related to the RSS feed potentially. That's the kind of thing that some people are gonna like and some people are gonna hate. Slim the list and make a poll on what will be on the poll. Yeah, I don't know that. I'm gonna end up slimming the list myself, honestly. YouTube streaming can totally replace any type of game video snaps. It could, but it's not going to be nearly as quality, and it's going to be depending on your internet connection. It could have performance issues. YouTube doesn't want you doing it, so in building it into Big Box is going to be a problem to begin with. There's lots of problems there. LaunchBox has been around for like three years, something like that. Exactly, Neil. Okay, yeah. As far as he says, to stream to Big Box from YouTube or Twitch would require basically a WebKit, Electron, or Awesomeness widget rendering to the video box with the embedded video URL loaded, which is feasible. The problem is that's huge and bloated, and you're not going to be able to do transitions and stuff like that very well with that kind of thing without a ton of crazy complicated work. So I'm not thinking that's going to be possible. Movies and TV series metadata. Again, we're kind of holding off on that. However, it's good to put on the list. Video tutorial section within LaunchBox. Video tutorials in LaunchBox. Not a bad idea. Good morning, Death Row. I will be, yeah, I'm sure I will be working on some of the things on this list here at some point, yes. I don't know, it's going to be hard to prioritize, but yes, I imagine this is the list we're going to use going forward for quite a while, Screen mode settings, like resolution and stuff. Right now, Big Box doesn't ever change resolutions. So, not a bad idea. Charlie Murphy died. That's sad. I don't know who Charlie Murphy is, though, to be honest. Probably should. Yeah, so community, like, popular games and stuff. A lot of people get upset with privacy issues when we start to do that, but yeah, that'd be really neat. Again, rocket launcher features we're not going to be putting on this poll for right now. XPatter plugin, Omicula profiles, sure. So integrated XPatter, which is feasible. That's not that hard to do. Although, you know, I'm torn on it. Yeah, RSS thing is already on the list. Hide mouse cursor when launching Big Box. That's already there, isn't it? Nintendo Power magazines. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Eddie Murphy's brother. Okay. Cool. So, what to do now, guys? I'm thinking like it's going to be impossible to whittle this down on the stream just because comments are coming in so fast. So, not sure if we should do that on the stream. I am going to get the. I'm going to work on this poll until I get it done, and we're going to get the poll live today, I think. And that, of course, will be the major news. Well, that and the release will be the major news that comes out on Saturday. So that I am going to work on, although I'm not sure I can really work on that while I'm on the stream. So I might have to wait until later on that and go through this and whittle it down and combine things together and all that kind of stuff. Just because it's too hard to do that while we got comments coming in like crazy, which is good, man. I'm enjoying it. But so what else can we do? I'm tempted to look into the 4.7, and so we do a little bit of development here and check out the .NET 4.7 release and see how that changes things. So we could do that. We could also go through Bitbucket and take a look at some more ideas, see if there's anything that hasn't come up there. Community stats, top games of the week, anonymous data collection, maybe an opt-out option for privacy. Yeah. So we'll put community stats down. I like that idea. I think it'd be really neat. But I know people are going to start to get skeptical on that. Ranked playlist functionality. Active player counts scraped from Steam. Interesting. Sort of understand Neil K, but I'm not fully following that there really either. Oh yeah, we got 84 items on this list. Now, you know, it's funny. You start to get to the point, like, we've been going on this for so long, and you get to the point where, like, gee, I think maybe we've implemented everything now. And then we do something like this, and we get 85 items on the list. So it feels like, you know, we're never going to be done. There's always ideas. There's always new cool things to do, and it's just never going to end, which is fine. You know, it's good. Because it keeps people excited. It keeps new things coming in. It's good. Theme download in Big Box. We might have had that on here, but I'm not sure, so I'll put it on just in case. Anyone else have any? Yeah, here we go. Anti-micro. Interesting. Okay. Online matchmaking is already on there through the NetPlay stuff. RetroArch NetPlay. Launch program before and after Big Box, so no mouse could be used. Sure. Although Big Box already hides the mouse if you disable it. That's what I'm... But I guess not necessarily in emulators and stuff. That makes sense. Evolution. Yeah, Big Box OS, I agree. I would love to do that, but again, we'd have to basically we'd come out with a Linux release is what we'd have to do, and we'd have to support Linux first. So that's kind of a major thing to tackle. We have an exit key separate already, Mark. Oh yeah, the options I certainly wouldn't add that stuff without being able to turn it off, Dave, for the community stats. Yeah, so I'm gonna check Bitbucket out next. LaunchBox friends with Steam IDs. Search for metadata in BigBox. Uh, Exodos is a collection of DOS games. It's basically the best collection of old school DOS games on the web. Yep, that's already on there, Jay, as far as the global generic images for games that have no artwork. Built-in pre-programmed emulators is not going to happen because of the, unfortunately, because of the licensing and just restrictions on various emulators. I'd love to do that myself. I would love to make it just automatically prepackaged, but every time we turn around and look into doing something like that, we get, the community doesn't like it, specifically because we have a paid version of the product. It's not open source. Everybody gets their panties in a bunch when we start talking about including open source emulators or even free emulators with LaunchBox and BigBox. Even if it's legal, I don't want to do it unless the developers of that particular emulator is they're up for it and support it. And we've had bad luck with that so far. Yeah, suggested games would be awesome. I just don't know how to implement it. We'd need some pretty neat metadata in the back to make it happen. Big box internet browser. Neat idea, but that's just too major of an undertaking. We'd integrate an existing browser, but it'd be a pain in the butt, and I just don't see it being that used. Total DOS collection. I'm not as familiar with that one, although my impression is Exo's better, but I should probably be careful what I say here. Invisible additional applications. Interesting. Don't show up in big box or right click list, which declares menus where you have. So hide additional apps used for automatic stuff. That's a bad way to put it, but I know what that means. Packaging emulators is a minefield, absolutely. Support for Firefox instead of making one from scratch. Well, yeah, you can already launch Firefox. The problem is getting controls to go over with arcade controls and all that stuff. So, honestly, that's not something I'm likely going to tackle anytime soon. It's because I don't see the appeal there. And it'd be a pain. But yeah, okay, let's check out Bitbucket. Let's look at the highest voted features on Bitbucket here. We're going to sort by votes. We're probably going to come up with some stuff that's already been done, like nested filters. Look at that. Number one voted thing. Guess what we just implemented, guys? Nested filters. Get out of here. Resolve. Implemented for 7.9. Now, are you going to keep showing that stupid message? Stop it. That's annoying. Option to create custom submenus and manual sorting in Big Box. Yeah, it's going to keep popping this up every 2 seconds, apparently. This is Sid. If I want to view my platforms, I have to choose View Platforms. Okay. So this is basically like the nested categories concept. Gotcha. Which is, I mean, platform categories is the same kind of thing that we basically just built. And with the playlists, this is basically all supported. The only thing that isn't supported here is multiple levels with what we already have. So, you know, adding a subcategory would probably solve this. But, yeah, because people want multiple levels. I don't know that anybody would need more than 3 levels deep. But I'll leave this open, you know, until we get that. But that's basically already there, other than the fact that we need subcategories. Image and video data named same as ROMs or rename all option. Interesting. I'm surprised this is so highly voted here. How many votes did this have? Or are we... Yeah, 50 votes on this thing. Wow. Maintain all the image data mandatory with the same name that ROMs have. Okay. Okay. So name the images based on the ROM file instead of the... Alright, I'll put that on the poll, sure. Name media based on the ROM file name instead of the title. That's an option. Right now, the way it works is it uses the title when you populate the names. However, it will still pick up media that uses the ROM file name. So it already does it, except the default way to name it when you add a new image is to name it based on the title. So it's only an issue when it comes down to adding new images, but it really wouldn't be that terrible or that difficult to do. So. Yeah, I agree about hiding additional apps. That is a good idea. 11 seconds before you see the list of platforms. That stinks. That's what is weird to me. I've heard that several times. I did improve that performance quite a bit, but even on the GPD win for me, with my I don't know 5,000-10,000 games, it only takes 1 second. So I don't understand why we're having performance issues there. I guess we need to look into that. Pac-Man, go ahead and send me your data if you would, just in like a private message on the forums, and I'll take a look at that and see if I can figure out how to make that quicker. Just be careful you don't cause it to get too bloated by trying to keep everyone happy. Yeah, Craig, I agree with that. And honestly, will all the items on this list ever get implemented? I'm going to be honest with you guys, no. Not everything on this list is going to get implemented. There's things on this list that are very, very specific and are not going to have mass appeal. And for that reason, not everything on this list is going to get implemented. So don't get me wrong, guys. But at the same time, it's good to brainstorm this stuff. And it's good to get a broad list. And it's also, my job as a developer is to do my best to go through and whittle this down to the what at least my best efforts of what is going to have mass appeal, and we go from there. I do my best to focus on the stuff that people want in batch, that most people want, which is why we do the poll to begin with, because obviously the app is going to get too nasty and too bloated if we focus on everything that just random people want, So we have to be very careful with that. And honestly, I feel like we've done a really good job with that so far. And I'm devoted to sticking to that. I don't implement features that are just random things that various people want. I want to only implement stuff that has mass appeal. So that's kind of where we're coming from. So yeah, I'm with you, Craig. Had slowdown with platform categories until Jason added the option to refresh images at launch. Refresh images at launch. What option is that, Nathan? I'm not following that. Where is that? Seriously, I'm so lost on that. GUI user-friendly theme creator. We actually discussed that earlier in the stream quite a bit. So you can go watch that after the fact, and we'll go into that and get the gist on that, Phantasm. The last main category you were in. Sure. Big box. Remember last view. It's not really. I mean, there's already an option to select to choose whatever the default startup view is. But I guess that makes sense that it would remember whatever the last one was. I'll give you that. That makes sense. Yeah, well, that's what we're just talking about, Pure Luck. Apparently, there's some performance issues for some people there still, and I'll dive into that. I just didn't know that was still an issue. I did a lot of performance fixes on that. Like I said, what puzzles me there is I tested this stuff on the GPD Win, which is slow, and I was getting about 1 second. So I just added it. Oh, for the pre-populated images stuff? Yeah, that will help. That will help if you do that. Although I'm not sure it's going to do that much for platform categories. Maybe it will. Sure, building the image repositories. Yeah. So it doesn't do that on startup. It doesn't do anything on startup. That's just a manual option. Force cache thing. Thank you, Jay Ryan. Sure. How big is your collection, Pure Luck? I'm curious. I know we've been through this stuff before. The other thing is like the bigger your collection is, the better your hardware needs to be, and that's just going to be how it is. We'll constantly work on performance improvements and stuff, but eventually it's just going to get to the point where you need really good hardware if you're going to have a massive collection. It's just the way it is. There's nothing we can do about that. Half a minute to about 2-3 seconds, sure. 4,000 games, yeah. And I think 4,000 games is pretty normal, pretty average. And I keep hearing that, Spendy, about missing artwork. I think we have some kind of weird rare bug where that happens to some certain people, and I have not been able to figure that one out as far as why uh, some users have issues with the search engine not finding images. I don't get it. Hardware is very fast. SSD for LaunchBox, brand new i5. All right. Well, how big is your collection? 55,000 games is not that big. That's weird. Well, I mean, that's big, yes. But it's not so big that it should be causing major performance issues either. So maybe you should send me PM me with your data folder too, Parallax, so I can experiment with it. This is what I can do. If you have, a particular collection that's causing performance issues, I can load that up relatively easily in my own tools, and I can figure out what the performance bottlenecks are, and I can whittle it down and improve things. So I mean, sure, send it to me and I'll take a look. The thing is, like, yeah, it shouldn't be having problems on a brand new i5. That's weird because that's definitely not the typical experience for modern hardware and 55,000 games. Sure, 55,000 games is a crap load of games, but that's just not typical from what I've seen anyways. Flash drive is not the same as SSD, no. SSDs are typically internal. Cool, Pure Luck. Alright, so back to Bitbucket here. We got that added. Differentiate between and scrape metadata for separate region releases for the same game. That's basically done, isn't it? For the most part. What's missing from the region ticket is the usage of right regional artwork metadata based on the value of the region field. Sure. That's already done. Region priorities for games which are either multi-region world or having any region associated with them. We already have something for that, basically. This should already be done. Yeah, I'm going to close this out. I think this is done. This is basically all implemented, guys. Let me know if there's something that we're missing, but this has been implemented for a while. Number of local players, sure. So that's got a lot of votes. So add metadata for a number of local players. I agree, I'd like to have that myself. Yeah. Metacritic ratings, community-based ratings is already on the list. Advanced search options is basically already on. We just implemented that. Filters. This has been implemented with the nested filters and auto-populate playlist options in Big Box and LaunchBox. Additional scraper options. So of course additional scraper options is scraping from additional sites, which is a big deal. I'd love to have that. But again, we're not going to do it unless it's official and we have an API and all that stuff. Yeah, Mick the Mage, that is on our list actually. Although it's difficult to implement. It's never been done correctly because it's impossible to do correctly. So it's my issue with it is it's always inaccurate and never works right. But yeah. Exactly, Nathan. A lot of the top voted tickets are yours, Sid. Yep. It's funny. Including Emu Movies initial media scraper was awesome, but I would suggest adding some more websites for game information. Oh, this is old. 2015. Giant Bomb, Co-Optimus, Metacritic. So I got to look in to make sure that we could. So before I put this on the poll, additional API scraper options. And before I put this on the poll, I gotta look in to make sure it's like feasible. And what I mean by feasible is there an API? Is the license on the API enough to allow us to use it? And stuff like that. So nested filters mean multiple levels deep, which is there already. I know you guys are asking for like so with the saved filters, if we implemented the saved filters in Big Box, that would get us multiple levels deep. I think that's what you guys mean. Oh man, we've been going since, well, it's been a long time. So it's 2017 now. LaunchBox was around for free. I mean, the free version before Big Box ever came out. LaunchBox was around for a long time earlier. When I first released LaunchBox, I'd have to look that up. Basically, there's a. I'm curious now. I'm gonna go look it up. The blog articles are still out there hidden. They're still on the internet. They're just not immediately accessible via the website. If I can find them. There you go. Search for LaunchBox version 2.0 released, and you'll end up on our old blog. And you can go back from there. I'm going to go all the way back to August 2013. August 2013, guys, was the first release of LaunchBox. That is almost 4 years ago. Insane. So this is the original release. Looks a lot similar to what we got now, doesn't it? It's not that different. This is what I built in literally 2 days. The original release of LaunchBox I built in a weekend, threw it out online, and this was actually originally published on my personal blog way back in the day. And yeah, it was only for DOSBox at that point. No emulators other than DOSBox. But look how similar it looks. I mean, it's not that different. It's kind of crazy. And this is all still out there. It's just kind of, hidden away. There's no direct links to this stuff. Giant Bomb definitely has an API, yeah. So I'll look into that and maybe we'll get on the poll. Maybe. We'll see how interested people are in it. 3D theme for Big Box. 3D models. Sure. Yeah, not a bad idea. Although I have some. I don't know. If we're going to do that, if we're going to go that involved, I kind of want to do the whole VR thing. So that's kind of an idea in the back of my head right now. For the long-term most exciting thing for me right now is, what about VR? So something to think about. It is on the list. Save filters, yeah. The list of Jason drinking in, man. I sometimes make programs and then throw them out. Yeah. Nice. Neil, that's cool. Is there a way to make the transition to loading games and exiting games more seamless? Seeing the window bars minimize and expand is annoying. Again, that's emulator specific, and Rocket Launcher has a means of doing it, although it's very error prone and it's often broken because anytime an emulator comes out with a new version, you might have to remake it, you know? So it's not always possible. Um, and Rocket Launcher does the best they can possibly do, but if we implemented that, then we would basically be having to do what Rocket Launcher does, and we wouldn't have any time for actual development. So, unfortunately, no, that's not something we can do any better than what we got right now. So my recommendation, if you really want that stuff, is use Rocket Launcher. Or use RetroArch, because RetroArch already handles that without any issues. LaunchBox Museum. Hey, that man. Yeah, that list will keep me going till version 25.7. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's good. That means our servers are providing you images quick enough. Beard. How about integration between your login on the website database and your collection? Yeah, no kidding. We definitely need that. It's a cause for confusion. The fact that everything has a separate login right now on the websites. So yes, I'm not gonna put that on the list because it's mainly I'm focusing on Launchbox and Big Box and maybe the database as well. But yeah, I agree that the website needs some work as far as consolidation there. The new Exodus stuff is going to be worked on regardless. That is pretty high on my list. So yes, that might actually happen before the next release, even. FYI on that. So whether that's not going to be on the poll, but it's going to happen anyways. Forum badges for DB contributions. Oh, that stuff would be so awesome. No kidding. It'd be really, really neat. So I guess we go back to Bitbucket. Kind of want to take a look at these features, though. This is funny. Uses relative paths wherever possible in order to ensure that the app behaves properly in a portable environment. That's been there from the beginning. Supports both DOSBox and regular Windows games. So that was always supported from the beginning. Regular Windows games and DOSBox. Sort, arrange, and filter your games by title, release date, genre, platform, rating, developer, and publisher. Yeah, look at the list of fields here. We were pretty minimal out the gate. Easily configure your games to launch in DOSBox by choosing the game's exe. Sure. Additional drives with an interface. Separate DOSBox configurations for each game. Yep. WinRAR based setup. That's not there anymore. Yep. Cool enough. All right, let's go to back to Bitbucket here. Cool, Charco. Yeah, I really want to see that myself. And there's like a whole handful of things like that I need. Honestly, something like that, what I need to do is just hire it out. Find a contractor who's willing to do it and get it done, so I can focus on actual app development, because that's something that anybody can do, and I just need to get that hired out when and of course money's an issue, and development like that isn't cheap, but we can probably afford it at this point, so I should probably just do something like that. You couldn't get DOS games to work with that old LaunchBox. Sure. Yep. But that hasn't changed much. The DOSBox approach hasn't changed much at all since the very beginning. We have made it easier, but not. I mean, there's not a whole lot we can do. These are my confessions. Hey, Matic. Welcome, man. First time on the live streams. Matic has done some awesome themes, and he's really helped on a ton of things in the community. So good to have you here, Matic. Um, Back to Bitbucket. We are on additional scraper options, including movies as an additional media scraper was awesome. Where were we? So basically, adding new websites like Giant Bomb. So I added that to the list. Let's move on here. Um, this add the option to include custom fields in custom filters. This is done. We just did that because custom fields are now available in the auto-populate playlists, which solve this. Which replaced custom filters. Okay. Open PDF manuals inside a big box. Yep. So that will definitely make it on the poll. Amiga WHD internal name conversion like MAME. Ah, okay. So I know what that means. Amiga WHD name conversions for imports is another one. I'm surprised that's... Well, I mean, it's only gotten 24 votes, but 24 votes is significant. Playlists is done. Added for 7.8. Add option to customize the priority of the databases before scraping. Huh. I see. Okay. Honestly, like Wikipedia, I don't even recommend using Wikipedia, so I'm tempted to even remove it. I mean, seriously, it's not accurate. It doesn't do a good job. So I would kind of... We definitely need that if we add more sites, absolutely. Although it kind of feels like we should do that first, I suppose. A run with context menu to be able to run each ROM with multiple emulators. That's a big one. That's a big one. I'm surprised that didn't come up. But being able to run any ROM with any emulator would be a big deal. All right. Here's an idea since I'm experiencing this issue right now. A pause import feature would be nice. Sure. Pause import. It's a little weird how resistant some of us older members have been to hanging out on the live streams. Visi. Have database with information and images of game characters. That'd be awesome. Sure. That'd be neat. DOSBox, yeah. The thing is about DOSBox, it's tricky, and I think the DOSBox team has done an amazing job making it as simple as possible. And for me, because I grew up with DOS, it's a breeze. There's like nothing complicated about DOSBox. It's just obvious to me. But that's largely because I grew up with DOS. I know how DOS works. If you didn't grow up with DOS and didn't master DOS, I can imagine DOSBox being the most daunting, awful thing in the world. But just because I know DOS, it's always been easy for me. But that's the thing with DOSBox. It all comes down to what you whether you grew up with it and you know DOS. We had you as the announcer for game launches. Right. Thank you, McTurbo, about playlists. Notice when scraping it tries really aggressively to find game names. Due to all the holes in the PC data from Steam, it makes a lot of errors. It does. Yeah, when there's missing games on the games database right now, it makes it has some problems. So, improve game matching where games don't exist on the games database. And then we got, which that's really not an issue for platforms like NES where we have like every single game. But yeah, on Windows where we don't have every single game, that becomes much more of an issue. Wikipedia is useful at least because it covers ones that are missing from your DB. Sure. Yeah, and I haven't played with it in so long. I'm glad it's still working. I might be soon dumping tons of data into the DB for lots of PC games from Steam's database. Heck, that's awesome, Neil. Absolutely. It's a me! There you go. I want that as a new feature. Hiding duplicates. Hiding duplicate images or hiding duplicate games. Giant Bomb is video game characters in the database, so maybe that's another reason for adding their API to LaunchBox. Okay, cool. All right, back to Bitbucket here. That I've already added. I like that one, by the way. Support for media like movies and TV series. I'm surprised. Well, that's gotten 21 votes. We do have that, a movie scraper on the list. Support for media like, oh, I'm rereading the same line over and over again like an idiot. Grouping games, that's done. Sure. Yeah, it only works if the titles match on the file names. If your titles don't match, then it doesn't work. So I'm going to piss some people off if I close this ticket. I should just rename it and change it up to include the DAT metadata and all that crap, you know. Getting that, the reason why we dropped that idea the first go around is because just getting it to work for everybody's crazy different ROM collections is a joke. It's just impossible. You're never going to support everything. And so we said, okay, that's just not going to happen. And we moved on from that. Yeah, granted, you can support the no intro without too much work. But the problem with that is naturally somebody's going to come along with some kind of crazy ROM set which doesn't match no intro or anything else useful. And it's just not going to work for them. And if you can't do it right, it's hard to convince me to do it at all. You know, that's the thing. Progress indicator for extraction of 7-zip RAR zip ROMs. I think we already have that. Maybe not. Progress. No, I don't think we added that actually. All right. We got that. Auto import games, monitor ROM folders for changes. That's basically already there. But the thing on startup, we did add ability to launch a program or game from top level menu is added. Bezels we've got on the list, even though again that's a rocket launcher feature that I'm probably not going to put on the poll. Animated backgrounds and animated box art. That one's tricky. We have support for GIFs, animated GIFs in Big Box. We got obviously support for videos in the background and all that stuff in Big Box. In LaunchBox, I should probably just close this one out because I'm not going to do it for LaunchBox. It's just, use Big Box. That's what it's for, you know. And honestly, the interface that we have going for LaunchBox is not made to play videos quickly. It's not what it's good at. And so in order to support that well, we'd have to re-implement the entire thing using better or not better technologies, but different technologies. What we have going right now with Windows Forms is proper for the type of interface that LaunchBox is, but it won't properly support animated stuff. That's the gist of it. And this was for LaunchBox way back in the day, 2015. So that one's not going to happen, really. Proper multi-disc ROM support is basically there. I'll go through and I'll have to close these out later. Controls icons we've got on the list. Auto image caching for performance. Auto image caching for performance. That's done. What is that? I don't understand. Moving the wheels to achieve perfect performance. Oh, well, that's guess what we just implemented. That's done. Force caching all images was implemented in 7.9. Sending LaunchBox with plugin support. That's a big one, actually. Plugin support. That's huge. We don't have anything in there for LaunchBox right now, although Big Box, there's quite a bit you can do. If you want to code your own stuff, you can use them in custom themes. And so because of that, it already supports plugins to a certain extent, but we need to make those plugins be able to access the data and stuff like that. So let me catch up on some comments here. Cleanup videos. Yeah, that would be good. On database, there should be a list of images which are the most important. That depends on preference, though. Depends on how you want to configure your collection, so that's tricky. Compress ROMs on import. Interesting. APNG support might be nice. I gotta look up what APNG is. Animated portable network graphics. I see. Okay. Huh. I didn't know that existed. I always wondered about that. That's cool. Priority by artwork available. What do you mean by that, Abdul? Add a separate video transition selector to Big Box for game views. So when using background videos, we wouldn't have an image on the screen, but still have small video when not using background videos. I'm trying to figure out what you mean there, Matic. Background videos. Excuse me. We wouldn't have an image on the screen, but still have small video when not using background videos. I'm sorry, man. Can you explain that? I'm not following on that. Is RSS in the poll? RSS is on the list, yes. I'm not sure if it's going to make it in the poll or not, but it is on the list. Oh, the crazy things I would do with plugins. I think, honestly, if we put it on the poll, I'm not sure that's going to get a lot of votes. But, man, I'm with you, Neil. I feel like we need to do that. How important are plugins for LaunchBox for you versus Big Box? Because adding it to Big Box is going to be a lot easier, and that's one thing I want to do, definitely, for Big Box. I'm not sure about LaunchBox, though. Platform subcategories is on there as well. Can the Force Images option have an option to be done for one system at a time? It should never be a couple of days. I know it feels like it's going to take forever, but even on the GPD Win, for me, it's taken it takes like 4 hours. So just run it overnight. I don't think I'm gonna be adding an option for per platform to it. No, just because I got to build an interface for it and all that stuff, and Export games, videos, files, emulator to bigger file. Sure. So export everything together. Yeah, it's generally pretty easy to do that because of the way LaunchBox is structured. We removed the import games and the export games features because they were just a pain in the butt. and they didn't work that great anymore. But yeah, I get you. So adding a new export games with media feature. Sure. So basically, you would want. We have an item on the list, Quill, to. He says regarding preferred images in the database, some must be more common: box, front, banner, etc. So exactly what do you want to do with it? I mean, we have an item on the list to remember your previous selection. Is that what you're going for? Because if we did that, then it would be easy for you. You'd be able to customize your selection, and then it would just remember it. So that seems like the best solution to me, rather than trying to guess what the most common stuff would be. Extraction progress is on the list. Yep. Prompt people to populate those groups. Sure. Background video and gameplay video at the same time. Big box plugins greater than LaunchBox plugins. Give it a go. I'm confused. Import related plugins, big box with user experience plugins. Sure. And I think that honestly the user experience plugins are going to be more important in the first kind of things we tackle. We'll definitely start with the big box stuff because it's already there for the most part, you know. So yeah, ultimately we should get big box going with that stuff, and it really wouldn't be that difficult. So that's something that is pretty high up on my personal list at this point. When folks are adding content to your database. Oh, I get it, Quill. I get it. Show some indication of which images should be the minimum to upload. I see. Okay. So games database, tell people we need these images. That makes sense. Yeah. That's not something I'm going to put on the poll because people aren't going to get it. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't really want to require certain images because naturally people aren't going to upload as much if we do that. But yeah, I agree. That makes sense. Rearrange screenshots. Image priorities, I think will do that for you, depending on the image type. However, if it's the same image type, no, there's no way to move them around. Don't know what images to add when you create a new game listing. Sure. Yeah, there are others. Although, I mean, the box front and the screenshot is going to be those are probably the biggest priorities. But yeah, I mean, the thing is like there's a million different images, and depending on the tricky thing is different people like to use clear logos, and different people like to use box art, and different people like to use screenshots, and different people like to use banners. Even I mean, everybody's different, so it's really tricky, and there's a lot of them. Preview images. Ah, yeah. Of course, that would require you to download the images in order to be able to preview them. There's no way to preview without downloading the images. But yeah, I can understand that. That makes sense. A quick overview of the list. Well, I'm not going to go through every single one, but this is what we got. I mean, we got 100 items, so I can't really go through and read them all. Um, but yes, I'll scroll through it slowly here. Go back up to the top, maybe. Yeah, the total time stuff is on the list. We discussed that earlier. Um, Matic, a separate video transition selector would still show the video when not using a background video, but not show image when using background video. Would still show video. Oh, I see. So basically, more flexibility for the custom themes when it comes to showing a video, regardless of the fact that there's a background video playing. Okay, I get it. Yeah, that's just the complicated nature of that. Is certainly not something we can put on the poll, although it might go into the custom themes improvements that are likely to end up on the poll. That makes sense. Clear logos for arcade, boxes, consoles for handhelds. Exactly, that's the thing. It changes based on the platform, it changes based on user preferences, so it's tricky. What a nice, concise list of suggestions we've come up with. A mere 100 demands for our king. Oh my goodness. Oh. What items am I interested in the most? That's an interesting question here. Going through this list, um, job security. It's going to be hard. Although it makes. Yeah, I'm excited about a lot of them. I really am. But there's a lot I'm not excited about personally. But whether I'm personally excited about it isn't really that as important as mass appeal. But retro achievements. That's something I'm really excited about. Net play is something that really excites me. Um, However, some of those are pretty new and not well implemented. But to have something like that implemented really well would be amazing. Um, Honestly, the filter saving is something I'm excited about implementing. Exodos, I'm excited about implementing that. Um, Plugin support is something I'm really excited about implementing. Image sets actually is something that's been annoying to me that I'm really pretty excited about implementing. Um, VR support, of course, is very exciting. So that's a gist. 9 and 24 are top priority. RSS feed, and 9 is platform subcategory. Sure. Database had the ability to not let you upload images if it did not meet a certain pixel quality. Yeah, and there might be like size requirements already, but it's actually really tough to determine the quality of an image. It's not easy. Size requirements don't alone do it. But yeah, I agree. That would be nice. Database Bitbucket is worth looking at. A good point. It is absolutely, and I never look at it. And honestly, I don't, and I need to. We need to get somebody working on the database, the games database, more again. And I just recently tackled some bugs and improved some things, but I need to spend more than a day on it. Yeah, basically with the plugin, the very first thing I'm going to do with the plugins is provide access to the data, Neil. That's like the number one priority. Only a small list for me. A Plex web server like environment would be awesome. Sure, I would love to do that. Although I had that envisioned when I first started the games database work, and I actually started implementing that with the on, the collection in the cloud stuff. And to my surprise, people didn't like it. People didn't want it. They thought it was a vast privacy issue. I got a lot of negative feedback on that initially, so that's why we shied away from that. Although I agree that it would be really neat and cool to do. Yeah, what I'm excited about is important, and I agree with that, Nathan. Absolutely. And I do have some control over what goes on the poll. I'm not that selfless that I don't take my own personal interest into account here, but it's also important that I focus most, at least, on mass appeal, mass community appeal, because we got to keep people using the software. You know what I mean, and keep people excited about it. Retro achievements is basically achievements in retro games. Retro achievements in net play should be on the poll. Yeah, they will be. They really will. Self-taught developer, or do I have a schooling background? Brandon, good question. And I've covered that before, but basically, I've been developing since I was 12. Um, so I taught myself development as a young kid. I was a really crappy developer, really awful at it, but I did it as one of my only hobbies as a kid. It was development, music, and video games were my hobbies as a kid. So I did a lot of development as a young kid just because I got lucky and got access to development tools and used them and taught myself development. Somehow I taught myself development without internet access. Pretty nuts. But then basically I went to college, and college was a frickin' breeze for me because I already knew how to develop. But I learned good practices in college. I went from knowing only Visual Basic and a little bit of C++ to learning Java and best practices and stuff like that in college. So college was important for me. I learned quite a bit of how to be a good developer instead of just a developer in college. And like I said, college was just stupid easy for me because I had so much previous experience. At least as far as the actual development aspects of it, gen eds suck no matter who you are. But and then I quit college with two classes short of my degree because I just threw my hands in the air and just didn't care. And I got a job, and I never got a degree, and I never needed a degree, despite the fact that I was two classes short. So I've had a very interesting perspective, but I was so into development as a kid that it's what I've wanted to do since the very beginning. So it's my life, and I love doing it. So that's my history. So it's a little bit of both. I taught myself, but then I also went to school after I'd already taught myself. That's kind of. And had I not gone to school, I'm not an advocate for college. I hate the U.S. education system tremendously, and I think college is a complete waste of time, especially if you can manage to, do well in your field without it. Do it, man. I despise the time wasting that goes on in modern higher education, especially in the U.S. I think it's a joke, and it pisses me off tremendously that college matters so much for salary and all that stuff. I think we're just wasting everybody's time with most of it. I would rather see people more focus earlier on what their career is going to be, because that's what. It's passion and focus that makes successful and useful people. And college tries to teach well-roundedness. And let's throw every subject imaginable at every single kid and try and get them to know everything under the sun so that we have people who know a little bit about everything and don't know a ton about anything. And I'm very much against that. Although everybody's different and everybody wants to do things differently. But I'm butthurt about the fact that I had so much random crap stuffed down my throat that has never been useful to me, when I could have been successful 10 years earlier if I had been able to focus on what I loved, So that's where I'm coming from. Rant over. Sorry, guys. Moving on. Something big box similar to recommended games. There isn't. And the thing is with that, we would need a database of data to manage it, and that would need to be defined, and I'm not sure how that would work. Retro achievements and something to make control pads work easier. One thing I have, I am aware of, if you use a D-pad, for controllers, if you use a D-pad in Big Box, navigation is pretty straightforward. But with joysticks, one of the things I am aware of is it's too easy to accidentally go up or down or left or right when you're trying to do the opposite. So I am aware of that. We do need to be able to solve that, or at least add options to disable that, something. So I'm going to add that to the list, actually. Solve accidentally moving up, down, or left, right when trying to do the opposite. That's been bugging me lately. Honestly, it has. So, how about an option to specify region for artwork download? For example, I have my Mega Drive collection is loaded with lots of Genesis box covers that I have to manually delete and switch to Mega Drive if also downloaded. That's actually on the list. I agree, that'd be cool. Should run a competition for a new big box theme to be made. Ooh, not a bad idea, Death Row. I don't know. There's quite a few theme developers on here, I think. Would you guys be interested in doing a competition, or would that be insulting? You know, I don't want to piss anybody off. Is that something that you guys would be interested in? Cake recipe, so the cake won't be a lie. Don't want me to burn out. Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm doing fine. I'm not burned out. Hey, Patham. Thank you, Neil. Steve Hampson. I don't know how to say your first name, man. Any chance of different themes having their own settings? Ah, yes. So we can set up multiple themes and switch between them without loss of option adjustments. That is a great idea. Settings per theme. We already have something like that, but that, to me, that's actually glorious, because that is one thing I would be excited about, because that bugs me right now. So good point on that. Agreed. It's a good one to add to the list. Did you learn how to run opcode zeros and ones across a simplified CPU logic diagram? Well, first I got to know what that means, Neil. No, I know. I sort of know what that means, but not entirely. I tried teaching myself assembly as a kid, and in college I did actually build an assembly language, and built a virtual computer that interpreted assembly language with instructions and all that stuff, and it was pretty cool. But I failed miserably when I was a kid. When downloading images through LaunchBox, option only download one image instead of several images. Ah, okay. Only download one image in LaunchBox imports. Not a bad idea. An AS and a BS in CS, computer science. BS diploma is magna cum laude. Awesome, Neil K. And I don't make an effort to discredit that stuff. I that's not my intention. But it pisses me off just how poor a lot of and how much of a jumping through hoops operation it is to get a degree. And you could say I'm butthurt because I'm 2 classes short. It wouldn't have been much effort to get those last 2 classes, but I kind of did it. I haven't gone back to get it because I'm kind of objecting to it. I don't want to be part of the system, I guess. The extraction progress bar will be themable? Absolutely. That's not hard to do. Hey, Camel. College is wonderful with programming. Most of it was language agnostic and based on real-world examples from my professor's prior work. That's awesome. Yeah, I had a really great experience as well as far as the actual programming classes I took in college. My professor was amazing. And I really only had one professor for all my classes, but he was just awesome. And he was the one reason why my college experience was good, at least in that sense. And it was good as far as like community and all that stuff. It's just all the gen eds. And I actually went to a really crappy school. And my one thing that was interesting about my college experience is they fired my computer science professor for really stupid reasons, um, right at the end of my college experience. It's just really really irritating, and he was an excellent professor, one of the best teachers I ever had, and they fired him because of some stupid disagreement. It was really frustrating, which is part of the reason why I never finished. Autocomplete nested filters is on the list. Yep. First 14 years of school is horrible. The last 2 years of college is some help in the field. Gen Ed is garbage. Yeah. Let parents teach reading and simple math. Yeah, I'm with you there to a certain extent. I mean, is when you get down to like lower, um, lower grades, it's always I do think it's very important to teach kids, because not every parent is going to be able to do it, and not every parent is going to do it. It's still important to teach kids all the generic gen eds, honestly. But once you get to college, it's just a waste. It's so stupid. If the kid can't read when he hits college, he's never going to be able to read. Let him do something else. Seriously, come on. It's just dumb. Is it possible to turn LaunchBox into an open source project someday? I have promised the community that if ever I stop working on it, well, not me personally, if ever we, Unbroken Software, the company, stops working on LaunchBox, we will open source the project and make it free. Absolutely. If ever we stop making money off of it, if ever we stop working on it, it will be an open source project. I don't envision that happening anytime soon, and I hope it doesn't, frankly, because obviously I feel like we're making much more progress than we would ever make with an open source project. So I'm going to keep going with what we're doing right now. But if we ever get to the point, and like I said, I hope it never does, but if we ever get to the point where we're no longer working on the software, we'll open source it. Camel. Yeah, only if I stop developing. Or only if we stop developing. Because it's possible at some point, it's not anytime soon, but it's possible at some point that if we ever get big enough to where we're going to be able to support a full-time developer, who knows what's going to happen. We might put a different developer on it, and I might try a new exciting project like VR. So you never know. You never know. Went to college for philosophy and now work as a developer. That's cool. Really enjoyed my college years, made me a better person, even if it didn't help me career-wise. Yeah, the social aspects of college definitely made me a better person, and the concept of college is not a bad one. The problem is the implementation. That's my opinion. Launchbox version for the Raspberry Pi. I'd love to see that too, honestly, but it's not going to happen because it would be a complete rewrite. And I don't. The other thing is, we are a paid product, right? That's the fact of the matter. This is my job, and I've got to have the money coming in order to be able to support that. And the other 5 people that rely on LaunchBox for their income. So for that reason, I'm hesitant to do the Raspberry Pi because that's what people use when they want something super cheap. And for that reason, I don't know that there's going to be income there enough to support us actually setting aside a significant amount of time for development on that. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with the Pi. Because the Pi is a good solution, but Windows is a better solution. The only reason why Pi would ever be a better solution is because it's cheap. If you want the best solution, you want a big old honking computer. That's just how it is. You want the fastest possible thing, and you want Windows because it's got the best emulator support. So, simple dead zone. That's a good point. Dead zone options. I'm not sure that's going to be the only thing we add, but that is a good idea. Yeah, the way it usually works here, Kyle, is towards the beginning that it's crazy and we got like all kinds of people commenting, and towards the end of the stream it gets a little bit more chill. So it's good to have both mixes. Cool, Matic. Yeah, I agree with Rant. Concentrating on the subject the person excels at. It just seems so obvious to me. It really does, because we're all so different. And me being uh, a Christian, I've been focused on the Bible my entire life, and it's interesting to note that all the mainstream Christian liberal arts schools, all the Christian colleges like to focus on this whole well-rounded thing, and it's not biblical. There's nothing in the Bible about being well-rounded. What's in the Bible is everyone is different and we should support each other with our different talents. That's what's in the Bible, not being well-rounded. And I know most people don't care about that. Not most people. People who aren't Christians aren't going to care about that. But it's interesting to me that colleges, Christian liberal arts schools, have gotten that so wrong over the years. It's funny. I did a speech on that in college, and my professor hated it because I was so right. I was pointing out so many good things, and I based it on scripture and all this stuff, and it was hilarious. I had the whole class like cheering, but the professor didn't like it too much. It's funny. Pie, yeah, I'd love to do pie. It's just not gonna happen, unfortunately. No, well, the issue is, well, yeah, just make the stick four way. Okay, if you're doing if you have that option in an arcade cabinet, but a lot of people use a 360 controller to navigate, and it's kind of problematic. We are running out of time here, guys, but I'm gonna catch up on the comments, and then we'll end here soon. It's been a good stream though. We got all kinds of good ideas, and it's been awesome. Competition would be cool. Competition is always good. Wow, I'm getting really behind on the comments, aren't I? Especially contributing to something like this. Maybe you need your controller arcade joystick. Yeah. I gotta catch up here quick, guys. You have a hotkey to change between themes. We don't, actually. That's not a bad idea. Hotkey switch themes. I'm not so sure, Sid, as far as like I think you two would be the best competition, but I'm with you. Uh, I well, anybody. I mean, we don't know what anybody's capable of course. But the thing is, I don't. The thing with the competition is like it's kind of insulting to people. It can be insulting, and especially for the guys that have already built amazing themes. So many awesome people, and I don't want to name anybody's names because there's so many amazing theme developers out there. Forcing them to do a competition and come up with another new theme is, a little bit, I'm just not into that. Although it would be really good for us to do a theme competition. I'm not, just not, I don't like it that much. Problem with school as 1 to 12 went was they wasted time teaching us the same subjects over on a loop. No kidding, man. Algebra was the same class in 7th, 8th, and ninth. Yeah, I had an accelerated math schedule, in like 7th, 8th, and ninth grades. So I didn't have that same experience. I went all the way up to calculus in high school. But at the same time, especially with subjects like reading, and, well, reading is different because you just need practice, really. You do learn the same crap over and over again. Life goals. Get a good job and buy unbroken software. That's hilarious. Life skills and occupation. Yes, yes. It's basically open source without much you interact with the community anyway. Well, thank you, Brandon. No, LaunchBox for Win90X. That's hilarious. I don't know if you're joking or not, Magnus, but yeah, that's funny. Let's say you still be tinkering with LaunchBox Big Box when you're using a Zimmer frame. What is a Zimmer frame? I don't even know. Do you have that backwards PC player about as far as all games versus installed games? It already adds all games. Launchbox for Amiga. How many times do we need to learn about the Roman Empire? Amen. Open Solaris. Yes. Well, that's the thing, guys. Right now, you can't invest in Launchbox, and I'm not sure I want people to invest in Launchbox. I'm happy being I'm happy where we are. I'm not sure, Apple Pippin. I'm not sure that we want to do the whole investment thing. Not for people who have already created themes. Not a bad idea. Boosting the theming community. Sure. Windows CE. What old people used to walk. I see. OS 2. Never frame metal frame to aid with walking. Gotcha. Big box for Wii. Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. I'm finally caught up with these comments. But thank you guys for the conversations and all the ideas, and it's been an excellent stream. One more thing before I go. I know this isn't what you guys want to hear, but I am going to Colorado on Friday to look for a house. So I will be working next week, but I'll be working less, and we probably won't do the regular live streams this coming week. So Monday and Wednesday at 9:30 probably isn't going to happen because my schedule is going to be all whacked up, and I'm going to be doing a bunch of stuff. I am taking my laptop with me. I will be working. I kind of have to work at this point. I can't just not work for an entire week. So I will be working. I will be doing some development, but I'll probably be doing light development this coming week, and we'll ride the poll out, that kind of thing. So I'll miss you guys this next week. I probably, if I can pull it off, I probably will do a surprise live stream or two. But like I said, I won't be doing the regularly scheduled live streams. So that is it, guys. Thank you very much. And I will see you guys sometime next week. Like I said, the rest of the day I'm going to focus on whittling this poll down, getting the poll up. And that's where we're headed. Thank you, guys. Take it easy, everybody.